I gave myself 30 days to build a SaaS product that solves one problem. As a developer, I kept running into the same issue. I'd solve a bug, fix an error, and find the exact command I needed, and then lose it. Weeks later, I'd hit the same problem again and start from scratch. I searched through old ChatGPT conversations, through an overcluttered Notes app full of random code snippets. It was really frustrating. So I decided to build a developer-focused web app that lets you store bug fixes, commands, and solutions in a structured way, so you never have to solve the same problem twice. And it all started in week 1, with the hardest part of building a SaaS product: the idea. Coming up with an idea isn't easy, because a good idea doesn't just sound cool, it actually solves a real problem. My first instinct was to go on Reddit and search through posts, threads, and complaints, trying to find something people wished exists. I found nothing useful, so instead of quitting, I looked at myself and asked, what was a problem I personally faced as a developer? And the answer was obvious. I kept running into the same issues, fixing the same bugs and solving the same problems over and over again without a reliable way to store and reuse those solutions. If this problem was frustrating to me, maybe other developers were dealing with it too. During this week, I logged in the tech stack, defined the core features, and most importantly, was honest with myself about what I knew and what I didn't. The app needed a front end, so I went with React. Nothing fancy, just something I could move fast with. Then I needed user authentication and database. This is where I used Supabase. Will you believe me if I told you this was the only tech stack I used for the entire app? No complex microservices, no over-engineered backend. Just React on the front end, Supabase handling authentication and data. Week 3 is where the real work happened. And I'd be lying to you if I said it was the fun part. I ran into state management issues, Supabase configuration problems, and bugs that seemed to appear out of nowhere. No error messages, no clear cause, just things breaking. But this week wasn't about speed, it was about making the product real. I focused on the front-end logic, how the UI feels when being used, how the front-end and back-end communicates, and making sure the experience stayed simple. This was also the week where I started cutting features. There were things I thought were great at first, but once I started building them, I realized they added complexity without adding value. So by the end of week 3, the app wasn't perfect, but it was usable, and most importantly, it was focused. Week 4 was about turning a localhost project into a real product. I pushed the code to GitHub and connected the project to Vercel and deployed it. And of course, it didn't work for the first time. I ran into environment variables, build errors, and small syntax issues that somehow showed up only in Vercel. But after fixing those one by one, the app finally went live. Seeing something you built open in a real browser on a real domain is a different feeling. At this moment, it became a product. There were a lot of mistakes I did when building this product, and here are a few that I think are very important to share. At the beginning, I tried to build the product I imagined people would want, not the one they actually needed. I added features just because they sounded good on paper. But during development, those features slowed me down, added bugs, and made the app harder and useless. What I learned is simple. Extra features is a liability. If a feature doesn't directly support the core problem, it doesn't belong in version 1. There were days where I genuinely questioned the idea. I wondered, is this useful? Would anyone actually use this? Am I wasting my time? That doubt slowed me down more than any bug ever did. But I realized something important. Doubt doesn't mean the idea is bad. It means you're doing something unfamiliar. If you want to feel confident before building, then you'll never ship anything. I spent too much time tweaking UI details, renaming variables, and refactoring code that didn't need refactoring yet. Early stage products don't need to be perfect, they need to exist. I thought building the app would be the hard part. Deployment, environment variables, configuration, authentication edge cases, and production bugs took way more time than I expected. Real software is more than writing code. Plan time for everything around it. After all of this, I ended up building StackVault. It's a simple tool for one purpose: to help developers store solutions, fixes, and code snippets so they don't have to solve the same problem twice. That's it. Nothing fancy, just something I genuinely needed while building. I didn't build StackVault to chase trends or build the next big startup. I built it because I was tired of losing knowledge every time I closed a tab. And even if no one else ever uses it, it already did its job. It solved my problem. If you've ever fixed a bug, closed the tab, and then had to rediscover the same solution weeks later, you get it. If it sounds useful, check the link below in the description. But the real takeaway isn't StackVault. It's that you don't need motivation or the perfect idea to build something real. You need constraints, a small scope, and the courage to ship something imperfect. If you're a developer watching this, I challenge you to build something in the next 30 days. Something small, something ugly, but something real. That's exactly how StackVault happened. Because most developers don't fail because they can't code, they fail because they never finish.